Most other beginners sound like this. But today, I will show you with 3 simple exercises how to sound like this instead. This is the same method I've used to teach hundreds of adult students, and it's helped them sound 10 times better. The first exercise will let you play really loud and really soft for an amazing effect. The second exercise will help you master the 6 dynamic levels, so you can sing with the violin. And the third exercise will show you how to bring that into your pieces so you sound truly beautiful. So here's the first exercise to play really soft. Our goal will be to be able to play like that. For that, there is only 4 things you need to change. The first one is the weight you put on the string. So that's refer to the weight combined of your arm and your bow that comes to the string here. To reducing it, instead of letting the bow rest on the string, you want to lift it a little bit, so that you really touch the string only very superficially. Then the second point is that we will play with less bow hairs. Because when you use all the bow hairs, it sounds very loud. So yeah, instead, we will bend the bow a little bit in direction of the fingerboard, so that only few bow hairs come in contact with the string. The next point, we want to still use enough bow so that the sound stay good and sound really light. For that, when you play half note in tempo 60, that will be this speed, you want to make sure to use at least half the bow. For example, from the middle to the tip of the bow. And the last point is that you want to adapt the contact point. The contact point refers to where the bow is in contact with the string. So to play really quiet, we will play a little bit closer to the fingerboard, for example here. And then next, you want to make a few variations of that. So here are a few examples, and play very softly like that is called playing pianissimo. It is written with 2 P, like you can see it here. So you want to do that in half note. But then you want to do that in quarter note too, like that. And in eighth note. And that's something you should start learning very early. For example, our students learned that already in level 2 of the Violinacademy. And now we need to learn the opposite, how to play really loud. This is called actually fortissimo in music, and it is written with 2 F. So here how it should sound in the end. And here too, we only need to change 4 factors. And the first one will be the weight. Here you want to make sure to use a lot of weight. You will do that by really feeling that your entire arm weight come here into the string. It should feel very heavy on the violin. And you will be able to see that here by looking at your bow. If you look at your stick, you will see that when you use a lot of weight, the stick will go down and come in contact with the bow hair. Then the second point is that you want to make sure that you use enough bow, or it will not sound good. So if you take the example of before in half note, you will need to use the whole bow. And if you play in quarter note, half the bow. At the same time, here you want to use all the bow hairs. That means that your bow hairs should be flat on the string, like that. You should see that the stick is really aligned on top of the bow hair. So like this and not like that. And the last point is that you will need to pull the contact point closer to the bridge. That means here. And now the goal will be to master the 6 dynamic levels. The 2 dynamics that we just learned, pianissimo, fortissimo, is like black on white, and now we want to learn everything in between. So the softest that we learned was pianissimo, like that. And it's like a whisper, if you try to whisper something in the ear of someone. The second level will be piano. So piano will sound something like that. It's more like when you are in a library and you need to stay quiet and speak quiet. For playing piano, you will do quite the same. You will just use a little bit more weight on the string, like 25%, for example. With the bow still tilted a little bit so that you use less bow hair and using half the bow. Then the next level is mezzo piano. It means a little bit quiet. So it's actually quite normal, like when I speak for this video. And for that, you will put a little bit more weight, and now you will use all the bow hair and playing flat and start using more bow, like that. Then the next level will be even a little bit louder. It's called mezzo forte, and here that will be more some normal loudness. And for that, you will use even more bow weight with 60% and start using the whole bow for the first time. Then above that, we'll have forte. Here, forte is really loud, okay? And for that, we will do the same, but you will now use something like 80% weight. That means you will really try to play loud. And of course, the last one, fortissimo, could be really thought like shooting, really, really, really loud. Not here, you just want to use as much weight as possible, and of course with a full bow. And something else that you should really watch too, if you are an adult beginner and want to sound beautifully, is our free masterclass. And you will find a link to register for free under this video. There I will show you exactly, how to master the violin step by step. So now, after you played every one of those dynamics, the next step is to practice playing them one after another. It's called a crescendo. So when I play, for example, and I do that, what I'm doing is that I started very softly, and then I became louder and louder. That's what we call a crescendo. And the only way to play crescendo is first to be able to play all the 6 dynamic levels. That's why we start with that. So when I do a crescendo, and a crescendo is written like that, by the way, with 2 lines that become bigger, expanding. And what I want to do basically when doing a crescendo is that the first note, if I play 6 notes, will be pianissimo. The second one will be piano. The third one, mezzo piano. Fourth, mezzo forte. Fifth, forte. Sixth, fortissimo. That's all. And what it means is that for every note and inside of each note too, you want to always use more bow weight. Okay, put more and more bow weight on the string. At the same time, I start with very little bow hair, with the bow tilted a little bit, and in the end my bow is completely flat on the string. At the same time, I want to use more and more bow. And last, I will need to adapt the contact point. So I will start close to the fingerboard, and with each note I will come closer and closer to the bridge. And then, of course, you should practice the opposite, and that's called a decrescendo. and that's just the exact opposite. I start very loudly, and then I become quiet and quiet, doing the exact same step we just did, but in reverse. So, and now comes the most important step, how to make your violin sing, so that when you play, it's really sound like this. And first of that, you want to sing the song. So let me open the music sheet of the Ode to Joy to show you some concrete example. So if we look at the notes here, even if you control the music sheet, you will see that they go up and then they go down. And what you want to try is just to sing it the same way. Following the note direction. When it go up, you will become louder and louder, and when it go down, always quieter. And then, after you sung it, the next step is to implement that on the violin. The first thing is that you want to train that in open string. That means without the left hand, just the bow, doing the same thing. Here we said starting quiet, then becoming louder, and then again quiet, like that. And here you do the same we did before, always more bow and more weight on the string. And then you will do the same in half note, playing every note without repetition very slowly, but with the same dynamics, that will sound like this. And while doing all those steps, you really want to make it even bigger. That means making even more differences that you will do in the end. Because the more difference you do, the more will stay when you really play it. And that will be your last step, just playing it, really focusing on the dynamic range. So while doing that, you will probably have the issue that your sound could be scratchy or whispering a little bit. For that, you need to master the 3 factors of sound. And this I show you in this video.